Hi everyone, today we will discuss regarding echinoderm larvae and its significance. In this topic we will go through the following objectives: introduction, echinoderm larval forms of different classes. Introduction. The phylum Echinodermata was coined by Jacob Klein, scientist. The organisms which are included in the phylum Echinodermata are exclusively marine animals. They are triploblastic in nature, having three body germinal layers. They are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, and they are enterocoelomates, where the coelomate is formed from mesodermal pouches, and they are deuterostomes, where the blastopore of the gastrula will become as anus. So the echinoderms are exclusively marine, triploblastic, enterocoelomic deuterostomes. Water vascular system or ambulacral system, it is a peculiar characteristic feature of echinodermates only, and it is not at all seen in any other phylum. Locomotion, it is carried out by tube feet. The larval forms, it may show the bilateral symmetry, whereas the adults, they may show either radial or pentaradial symmetry. Aristotle lantern, which is a 5-jawed apparatus, it is present in echinoderms. So this is a little bit introduction about echinodermata. Echinoderm larval forms of different classes. Diplurula larva, which is a hypothetical larval form. Pentacula larva, bipinnaria larva and brachiolaria larva of the class Asteroidea. Auricularia larva, Doliolaria larva of Holothuroidea class. Pluteus larva, which mainly includes Echinopluteus larva of the class Echinoidea, and Ophiopluteus larva of Ophiuroidea class. Doliolaria or Vitellaria or yolk larva, which is seen in the early stages of the class Crinoidea. Cystidian or pentacrinoid larva, which is seen in the late stages of the class Crinoidea. So these are the different larval forms of echinoderms, and it is seen in different classes of the phylum Echinodermata. Diplurula larva. This diplurula larva form, it is regarded as a hypothetical ancestral form of echinoderm, as this form is universally present. So the diplurula concept was first propounded by Baker scientist in 1900. The major changes involved in other echinoderm larvae are due to the differential disposition of these ciliated bands. So the diplurula form, it has reached during development, and it is characterized by egg-shaped body. It is characterized by egg-shaped body, and it will show the bilateral symmetry. The ventral side, it is concave in nature and bears the mouth, and it is encircled with circumvoral ciliated band. The anus, it is present on the ventral side. The digestive system of this diplurula larva, it is differentiated into esophagus, stomach and intestine region. The preoral lobe, which is situated at the anterior end of the mouth, bears apical sensory plate and a tuft of cilia. The ciliation on the surface of the body becomes reduced to a ciliary band. So these are some of the characteristic features of diplurula larva, which is the hypothetical ancestral larval form of echinoderms. The second larval form, that is Pentacula larva. This larva is regarded as the next evolutionary step of the diplurula larva. This concept has been supported by Seman in 1888, Burry in 1895, Hyman in 1955 and many others. The Pentacula larva has 5 tentacles. The name itself indicates penta means 5. It is having 5 tentacles surrounding the mouth. The hydrocele, it is separated from the rest of the coelom, and it will form the future water vascular system. So this is the characteristic features of Pentacula larva. Bipinnaria larva. This is the third larva of echinoderms. This type of larva, it is a characteristic feature of the class Asteroidea. It possesses two ciliated bands. They are the preoral and postoral ciliated band. Preoral ciliated band, it surrounds the preoral lobe of the larva, which is highly developed. The postoral ciliated band appears to be longitudinally placed and it forms a complete ring between the mouth and anus. The bipinnarial larva bears a close resemblance with auricularia larva of holothurians. The body of bipinnarial larva is externally bilaterally symmetrical, but subsequently the internal structures assumes asymmetry. It is a free-swimming larva and the anterior end of the argentera develops as mouth and the blastopore it will become as anus. The preoral and the postoral ciliated bands are continued over a series of prolongation of the body called arms. The name and the number of the arms developing from the preoral and postoral ciliated bands are as follows. The posterior lateral arms, they are 2 in number, postoral arm 2, posterior dorsal arm 2, anterior dorsal arm 2, preoral arm 2, ventromedian arm only 1, dorsomedian arm 1. So the preoral and ventromedian arms develop from the preoral ciliated band and the rest of the arms develop from the postoral ciliated band. So the arms are provided with muscles and are contractile in nature. The anterior lateral arms are completely absent. So these two ciliated bands are regarded to have arisen from a single ciliated band as in auricularia, which becomes subsequently divided. So this is evidenced by Asterias rubens and Asterias glacialis, where these two ciliated bands remain initially dorsally connected. The bipinnarial larva is a feeding larva and leads a free swimming mode of life. After a short period of free swimming existence, it transforms into lithotropic Brachyolaria larva. So these are the characteristic feature of bipinnaria larva, where we can see the preoral lobe, mouth and postoral lobe and finally anus. Brachyolaria larva. So this type of larva, it is seen in the class of asteroidean members and it is a modified form of bipinnaria larva. It possesses the following special features. There are 3 additional arms which are not ciliated in their courses except in bipinnaria papillata. These arms are called as brachiolar arms. Brachiolar arms are present, hence the name Brachyolaria larva. So these arms are called as brachiolar arms and are the bisects with the warts to help in temporary adhesion. So these arms are devoid of calcareous rods and have prolongation from the coelomic cavity. So calcareous rods are absent in these brachiolar arms, but it will have the prolongation of the coelomic cavity. So the bipinnaria stage, it is followed by the brachyolaria stage in all asteroids, but the direct evidence is only furnished in 2 cases. Example, Asterias glacialis and Asterias vulgaris. In Astropecten, the brachyolaria stage is absent and the bipinnaria larva metamorphoses directly into adults. So this is the brachyolaria larva, where we can see the brachiolar arms that mainly helpful for temporary adhesion, and the digestive system, it is complete, which is having the esophagus, and here we can see the lobes of the hydrocele. The 5th larval form of echinodermates or auricularia larva. So the externally, the auricularia larva, it may show the bilaterally symmetrical larva. It is present in the class Horothuridae and it is characterized by a single longitudinal ciliated band, and the preoral lobe, it is very well formed and there is no any calcareous rods. Calcareous rods are completely absent, and being replaced with spheroids or star-shaped or wheel-shaped like bodies. In certain forms, example, Auricularia stelligera and Auricularia sperigera, elastic spheres or unknown consistency are present. So this is the auricularia larva where we can see the preoral loop and we can see only a single longitudinal ciliated band, and calcareous rods are absent, but it is replaced by spheroids or star-shaped or wheel-shaped like bodies. So this is the auricularia larva of Holothuriidea class members. The sixth larval form of echinoderms, that is Doliolaria larva. This larval form, it is also seen in the class Holothuriidea. The auricularia larva transforms into barrel-like body with 5 ciliated bands, which subsequently break into pieces. The particular stage, it is also designated as the pupa stage. During metamorphosis into an adult form, the ciliated band, it will disappear and further changes will occur. In some species of holothuroids, example, order Dendrocheirochida, that is example Cucumeria and Thione, etc., a non-feeding barrel-shaped vital area larva it is seen. This type of larva is also found in crinoids and a few ophiuroids also, which possess ciliated band but without arms. In Cucumeria planki, the auricularia stage it is absent and the embryo transfers directly into Doliolaria stage. In Cucumeria frondosa and Cucumeria saxicola and Solus phantophus, both the larval stages may be absent. So in Holothuria floridana, there is no any larval form and the embryo develops directly into that of the young holothuroid. So this is the Doliolaria larva of Holothuriidean members where we can see the barrel shaped body, and here also calcareous rods are absent but we can see the spheroids will be present. Pluteus larva. The larval form can be regarded as a modification of the auricularia larva of holothuroids. Like the auricularia larva, it has a single ciliated band, but it possesses long arms with ciliated bands at the margin. It has comparatively smaller preoral lobe. The post-anal part of the body is quite and well developed. So the arms are also supported by calcareous rods. Here we can see the calcareous rods in Pluteus larva. So the Pluteus larva are of two kinds, that is Ophiopluteus larva, which is seen in the class Ophiuroidea, and Echinopluteus larva, it is seen in the class of Echinoidea members. So here Pluteus larva, here we can see the calcareous rods and it has a single ciliated band, but it possesses long arms with ciliated bands at its margin. So that is the characteristic feature of Pluteus larva. So both the larval forms, here in this figure we can see the Echinopluteus larva and Ophiopluteus larva. Echinopluteus larva, it is seen in the Echinoidean members, that means those which will belongs to the class Echinoidea, and Ophiopluteus larva, it is seen in the members of the class Ophiuroidea. So both the larval forms possess the post-oral arm, anterior-lateral arm, posterior-lateral arm, posterior-lateral arm, posterior-dorsal arm, but they differ. So the typical Ophiopluteus, it may be absent in certain forms. So the arms are small in Ophiopluteus Mesteniskov and Ophiopluteus clapardi. In Ophionotus hexactis, the Ophiopluteus larva, it may lacks the arms. The larvae, it may be elongated and without ciliated bands. So the skeletal rods are usually absent. If present, only one it is number. So this condition it is observed in Ophiopluteus annulatus and Ophiopluteus oblongus. Remark: the presence of Pluteus larva in both the cases is an example of parallel evolution, and the similarity between the two larval forms, that is Ophioplutex and Echinopluteus, was once again considered as a closely related group, but the phylogenetical analysis do not indicate this. It is supported by Anderson scientists. So this is related to Ophiopluteus and Echinopluteus larva, where we can see the anterior lateral arms, posterior lateral arms, post-oral arm, posterior dorsal arm, like this. Here the arms are longer in size and they are supported with that of the calcareous rods. Eighth larval form, that is Antedon or yolk larva. This particular larva, it is seen in Crinoidea class members. This particular larva, it is also called as Doliolaria larva or Vitellaria larva. So the larval stage is present in Antedon and it has many structural peculiarities. It has a barrel-shaped body with slightly flattened ventral side. It is a free-swimming larval form and it will exhibit bilateral symmetry. The ciliated bands are in the form of 4 or 5 separate transversely placed bands encircling the body. So in Antedon bifida, there are 4 bands. In Antedon Adriatica and Antedon Mediterranea, there are 5 bands. So the tuft of cilia with stiff sensory hair springs from a thickened ectodermal patch that is called as apical neural plate, which is comparable to that of the Tornaria larva of Balanoglossus. So the presence of apical neural plate in Antedon larva, it is compared with that of the Tornaria larva of Balanoglossus, which is included under Hemichordata. So the anterior ciliated ring, it is ventrally incomplete in nature. So these are the characteristic feature of Antedon or yolk larva, which is also called as Doliolaria larva or Vitellaria larva. So there is a ciliated depression or the larval mouth, which is ventrally placed between the second and third ciliated rings. So here Doliolaria larva, which is seen in the early stage, and this is the Doliolaria larva which is seen in the later stages of Crinoidea members. A small adhesive pit, it will develops between the first and second ciliated band or ciliated rings, by which the larva adheres to that of the substratum. The internal structure, now it will be rotated at an angle of 90 degrees from ventral to the posterior side. So here also we can see the ciliary rings, and this is the vestibule apical sensory tuft of cilia, which is seen towards the anterior end of the body, which mainly helpful for attachment to that of the substratum. The next larval form, that is a cystidian or pentacrinoid larva. This larva, it is also present in Crinoidea members. It is the second larval stage of Crinoidean class members. The anterior end of the Antedon larva after attachment is prolonged into a elongated narrow stalk, and the free end becomes broader. So the ciliated depression becomes a closed ectodermal vesicle which gradually shifted to the free end. So the floor of the depression is perforated by mouth, and with the disappearance of the roof, the mouth and the tentacles becomes exposed. These are the tentacles, how they are exposed. So this particular phase is called a cystidian or pentacrinoid stage. So this stage resembles closely the adult pentacrinous forms. So the stalk in this form develops from the preoral lobe. Preoral lobe. So this stage, it is quite similar to that of asteroidan class members, except that it lacks circumoral vessel. So these are the characteristic feature of cystidian larva or pentacrinoid larva, which is seen in the class members of Crinoidea. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. If you are watching my video for the first time, please subscribe my channel.